Today I want to talk to you about what I'm noticing in terms of the value of the work and the 4 questions for me. What I notice is when I get really in touch with a particular moment in time and I sit myself really in that moment, feeling the emotion, and then I ask myself the 4 questions, the value of each of those questions really resonates with me. So what I notice is that if I take myself back to the moment and I'm really in touch with my anger or my hurt, as an example, in a moment, that when I sit with, is it true? It's really easy for me to answer the question because the answer is coming from the emotion that I feel. And more often than not, the answer to the question 1 is yes, because I'm so caught in that emotion, what I'm feeling in that moment. And then I notice when I sit in question 2, can I absolutely know that it's true? Again, it depends on the depth of that emotion and how much I'm feeling caught in the emotion of the moment as to what my answer to question 2 is. And oftentimes for me, it's another yes. And then when I get to question 3, how do I react? This is when I really start to pay attention to what's going on for me, both in my behavior, what's happening in my mind, and it's when I really start to notice and get close to how I'm seeing the other person or the other people that are involved in the particular situation. I notice how narrow my focus becomes a lot of those times when I'm sitting in that moment. I either feel isolated and alone, as if those people aren't there, or it's as if there's only me and that person there and I'm totally unable to see anything else outside of that. And I really am up close to how I believe they're treating me. And again, it's like I have this really narrow tunnel vision. I like using the sub-questions, how do I see the other person and how do I treat the other person? That lets me get really close to how I'm really reacting towards that other person in the situation. And then I also use how do I see myself and how do I treat myself. Oftentimes here I notice that I'm treating myself in a very different way to what I was even imagining or even aware of. By this time, I'm really understanding exactly what having this thought is doing to me in terms of how I'm being or not being in that particular moment. And from that space, going to question 4 of who would I be without the thought, it's a very different place and it allows me to see that there's a different world there if I'm open to exploring that. And I notice that when I'm able to sit in question 4, who would I be without the thought, how much my whole body opens up and I feel so expansive and open. And I notice then that the whole world of that particular vision, that particular situation opens up. I see more. Things become more clear. I just have a very different perspective of the whole situation. And so I really love and notice the value of these 4 questions and how they open up my world when I'm willing to sit in them. Is this what you notice too?